Hey everyone, this is Chris and Sandy Bent with the Chris and Sandy Show. We get up close and personal with some amazing guests throughout the entertainment industry. And today, like I said in every episode, we got a great one for you. Who do we have?
Yes, we have Mila Nabours with us today. She started out as a competitive gymnast before transitioning to dance. Mila has won multiple awards and scholarships at national competitions. At age 12, she was discovered by a casting director and landed the lead role in her first film. Her lead roles have earned her multiple awards as Best Young Actress. Her talent can also be seen on TV and shows such as People Magazine Investigates, as well as commercial campaigns, web series, and music videos.
And we're excited to have her on. So welcome to the show.
Welcome.
Thank you so much for having me. I'm so excited.
It is our pleasure. So as you know, we all went through this crazy COVID stuff over the last year, and entertainment got hit the hardest of any industry.
Yes,
so how did it affect you, and what have you done to maneuver through this crazy maze we have?
Yeah, so it's actually crazy because the pandemic was obviously like very devastating and affected so many people's lives, and it's just been overall a really rough time. But last year, actually, because of the pandemic, I started doing music because I had so much more time. And I had been wanting to do music for a while. I had been wanting to sing and produce songs. And so I finally started doing music. And I don't think that I would have done it if it weren't for COVID, which is crazy. I started singing last year. And now I'm writing music and recording songs. And I'm coming up with my EP. And it's just crazy to think that that all started last year. So that was probably the biggest change in my life, besides acting, which has been definitely a lot slower because of the pandemic. Yeah. And also for my age and because they want older to play younger. And so it's just a little bit slower for my end. But that's okay.
and we definitely know exactly where you're coming from because like when we launched the show, it was January 2020, so a couple months before COVID.
Yeah.
And, our original plan was 100 interviews. We thought if we could just do that, it would be a great foundation for the first year, 100 interviews. And then COVID happens. Right. And here's the funny part. The original plan was an up-and-coming country artist interview show.
Oh, wow.
That was the roots of the show. And
it would have been an idea.
And COVID changed all that.
It did.
All of a sudden, I was like, you know what?
We
need to just open the door and flood it out. And we've over 400 interviews since launch. And because of COVID, we now bring on all artists and all people in entertainment, from actors to athletes, you name them. That's
awesome. Well, you really expanded your range because I would have never known that's how you started off. So that's really cool.
That's funny. We started country. And although we still have country that comes on, it seems like that's a smaller part of the show because it's so many parts of the show now.
Right. So diverse. Yeah, for sure. Well,
it's definitely been a crazy venture already.
It has.
Absolutely.
So what was the transition like for you when you went from gymnast to dancer?
So I quit gymnastics mainly because of my injuries. I had fractured my elbow and I kept refracturing the same part of the bone over and over again. And that was just like my time. Like my body could not do it. It was a long journey. I had been doing competitive gymnastics since I was really young. And gymnastics is pretty brutal, like physically and mentally. You're in the gym all day. I had to be pulled out of school early every day. And it was just, especially for a kid, that was a lot. So I could not do it anymore. And I switched over to dance, the transition was, I would say, mostly smooth just because I had already had the athletic training and the strength and the flexibility. I mean, I wasn't like the most flexible, some kids doing these crazy tricks. I've never been naturally super flexible. But the main thing was being able to have a more fluid movement quality, because what dance is about is being able to move your body in a lot of different ways, which from being a gymnast, everything is like
super. It's probably hard.
Yeah.
Being a gymnast, you get the muscles and then they don't want to be flexible.
Right. Yeah, of course, because you can't be too flexible in gymnastics or else you'll hurt yourself even more. But I mean, at least, I had my splits and I could, do a lot of things that was very helpful when I started dance. So it was just about finding my movement quality and actually expressing my body that wasn't like, doing tricks, and basically that's what it was. So, but it was really fun for me, and I had taken dance classes here and there when I was a gymnast, so I was a little bit experienced with taking different types of dance. So
when you were younger, what did you want to be? Did you want to be a dancer, a gymnast, or a musician? I mean, what was your goal?
See, when I was younger, I had no idea that I would be doing anything like this. I had no clue. And so that's really funny to me because I love gymnastics, that I would be in it to the end. Or maybe, I did know that I might eventually switch to dance. I had always had a passion for dance, but it was mainly gymnastics, and that was it. That's all I had really thought about, because when you're in the gym, it's all day and that's all you think about.
Uh-huh.
Mm-hmm.
Like I didn't have any time for other extra curricular activities. So the fact that I'm doing acting and music right now, 10 years ago, 7 years ago, I would have, maybe even 5 years ago, I would have no idea.
Well, in music, 2 years ago, you would have been like that.
Yeah, it really is.
Because you said COVID was the reason you did music.
Yeah, because I come from a musician family. My mom is a classical bassoonist, and my dad is a violist, and they both studied music their entire life, went to college for it, and so it was funny because they were like, oh, you're like the only one in the family that doesn't have a super strong passion for music, and that's okay. I mean, there's no problem with that. It was just I used to do violin and piano when I was a kid, and I hated it. I couldn't stand it. My mom taught me piano. We didn't get along. You know how it goes when the parents teach the kids. It just really go on. But when I started singing, they're like, we knew it. Your musical talent was up there somewhere.
So when you said that you want to make that transition into being an artist, they were excited, didn't they?
Yeah, absolutely. They were like, yay, finally. I mean, I would say dance is definitely a form of art more than gymnastics. I mean, gymnastics is a sport. Dance is like some people call it a sport, but really it's an art form.
Yeah.
So that's a little bit more in the range of music more than gymnastics. And
like he said, like Charlotte said, they're in your DNA.
Oh, I love that. Yes. That's right. Yes.
And hey, Joe, that's our buddy Joe.
Yes, hi, Joe.
Nice. But it's crazy how much my life has changed in kind of a short period of time. But
yeah, we understand that too, because granted, I'm gonna be 50 this year, but we just started this show. We had no idea that we would go this route and do this thing, and now other doors are opening for possible speaking stuff down the road, and books and stuff. So and all this is coming all at once. So it's like we never realized that this show would be the catapult for other stuff.
Yeah, absolutely, and that's really great. Like one door that you put yourself in and start something, it leads to so many other things. And that's the same thing. Like when I started doing one thing, and then people were like, oh yeah, people at my studio were doing acting and singing and all this, and I was like, wow, okay. It's like it leads you through so many different paths. So it's awesome that you guys are doing that.
Because we've had plenty of guests that have what they call the triple threat, where they sing, they act, and they dance.
Yeah. And that's what they want in the industry right now. They're like, oh, well, you're an actor. Well, we need you to dance and we need you to sing. And so when I started acting, I was like, oh, singing, like I can't do that. Like I don't know. I like to sing, but I was never confident about it.
Wow.
Yeah.
And now you're doing it.
Yeah, I'm doing it.
How's that feel?
Huh?
How's that feel?
It feels very I'm trying to find the right word. Fulfilling, I would say, because I feel like I'm doing what I really want to be doing.
Yeah.
Because especially acting and singing right now, I really feel like I'm able to express myself in the best way that I can, and it's kind of a release for my emotions or whatever is going on in my head. And so it's just, that's what art does for you. It lets you release your emotions. It lets you express. And that's probably my favorite thing about it. And I really enjoy it. So,
I remember Steve Harvey saying that when you're in that zone, what you're supposed to be doing is when you're doing something to where it takes the least out of you to do it, and everybody thinks it's genius.
Oh, wow. That's a good saying. We love it. Yeah. Oh, that's great. That's true. Wow.
So what are some hobbies you like to do outside of being creative?
Good question. Hobbies I like to do. I like do stuff and then people ask me and it never comes to mind. Well, one thing I love, this is not really a hobby necessarily, but I love roller coasters. Sorry, that's not even a hobby. Okay, let's see. Oh, photography. When I was at a competitive dance studio, on the side, I would always bring my camera and we'd always do like little photo shoots on the side. I was super into photography. And I still like it. I just don't do it as much anymore. I just don't really have the time.
Time is a tough thing, ain't it?
It's a tough thing. Dancing, singing, acting. It's already so much going on.
That's a lot.
It's like, when do you have time
balance,
to add anything else, right?
Yeah, when I'm not doing something, I'm normally just like relaxing and decompressing and like hanging out with my friends or my family or going to the dog park or something. But it's just
playing all that hobbies too, though, in a way.
Yeah. Maybe jogging. I don't know. I've been going on a lot of jogs. That's I don't know. I'm trying to find things that are actual hobbies, but I don't know.
So what would you say is something quirky about you that people wouldn't know?
Oh, quirky about me. My personality? I don't know. Never really thought about. You guys are asking really interesting questions, and I feel like I'm not giving my full responses. I'm trying to think of something quirky about that nobody knows. I can't think of. What would you define as quirky? Like different?
Different, unusual.
Yeah.
Because different people's definition of quirky is different a lot of times. So
it's a really broad term.
This is not really, I don't know if it's that quirky, but it's kind of like a personality trait. I'm like very emotional, like for the littlest things. Like I'll watch a social media video of like a dog or some sort of like something sad happening, and I'll literally just be bawling right there and then. And I think I'm pretty sure that helps me with my acting, to be honest with you.
What's funny is there are times where we're watching TV and a Hallmark commercial will come on. Yeah. I'm in tears and I'm sitting there like
so emotional. Like my whole day, I'm just thinking about it, and I'm like, and so I guess that helps me with crying on cue for acting because I'm able
to. Some men will try to say I lose my men's card for that one, but yeah, I end up in tears even over a commercial.
No, I feel that. I literally feel that. Yeah. Maybe it's also a teenage thing, but I feel like it's amazing too. So
this is me too. You know, a lot of people, they see the glory of like Blake Shelton, Carey, and all the big artists and big actors.
Oh, yes.
But they don't see the grind, the sacrifice, the tears, the struggles that it takes, not just to get to their level, but even a career level within the entertainment world.
Yeah.
And I always want to talk about that side because I think a lot of people sugarcoat this side and they dive in and then they get beat up because it's so tough. The rejection is crazy. So let's talk about this side of it a little bit. Let's talk about the sacrifices, rejection, and how you handle that.
Absolutely. Well, that's a really good point to be making because everyone on social media only sees the side that people want them to see. They want them to see their successes and their achievements, but
not real.
The majority of the time it's auditioning, never hearing back. It's dealing with things that you don't want to be dealing and dealing with situations and people who just make you like put you down, especially in the social media world, because a lot of it is toxic, and that's sad because you'll see there's so many aspects. But it's okay. Let's start with acting. So especially with acting, you go in and you do the best that you can for your self-tape, and you find out the casting sometimes doesn't even open it. Or you found out the person that booked it because they know the set teacher, which means really that it's a lot of time not just about the acting, but you know, and your look and your height and your resume.
And you might remind them of somebody that they don't like.
Right. There's so many aspects on why you don't book a job, and that's why the percentage is a lot of times lower. And so if you audition for a lot of things, you'll end up booking maybe a couple of those things. But for me, since I don't really get too many auditions right now because of the fact that I'm 15 and they cast adults that are 18 to play younger so they can work longer, is to my disadvantage. And that's a really big problem for me. So with acting, that's why it's been slow. Or especially like with social media, you'll see someone's life on the internet. You'll see them doing all these fun things, and all these people are like, wow, I wish my life was like that. But in reality, yes, they have a privileged life, but at the same time, they also struggle with a lot of things. And so with the whole influencer thing going on, there's a lot of influencing of the wrong things. And so these people that are following these young teenagers are like, oh, I need to do this to be like them. And that's a problem because you don't. Nobody that are following these people, like everyone needs to own who they are and be confident about who they are, instead of saying, oh, I'm going to do this to look like this person. I'm going to do this so I can have the life of this person. And when it comes to career side, it's like, oh, sometimes you feel like you're not worthy or not good enough because you don't feel like you've accomplished enough, when really it's not even about what you've done. It's just about timing with jobs, or bookings, or with anything in the industry. It's all about timing. And it's a very competitive, cutthroat industry. That's the bottom line. People,
now, going back to social media, because when in our time, of course, we've always had bullies out there. But in our time, there wasn't social media. Now, a bully can be a bully without nobody knowing who the bully is.
Yeah, like a cyberbully. Yeah.
And so, how do you handle that side of it? Because again, they can be fierce, and of course,
absolutely.
And I know people say I just ignore it, but let's face it, not everybody can ignore it.
That's a very good point, because I go live a lot on Instagram and I talk to people, and sometimes we'll get these like clusters of people that will join it's like almost like a gang, like they all join at once and bombard the chat with all of these comments that are very degrading and really disrespectful. And for one, sometimes it's not worth my time. I really don't care if you're sitting behind a screen using your time to put someone else down, that's a reflection on who they are as a person and how they feel about themselves. And that's the reality. And someone like that, with all due respect, I don't value their opinion that much.
Yeah.
Right.
You know what I'm saying?
Yeah.
Or if it's something like, if it's continual, I'm like, well, I mean, there's nothing wrong with you getting off the stream. I mean, this is my stream. Like, you don't have to be here if you don't like me. We don't vibe, that's fine. But like, deuces, like, you know what I'm saying? Like, nobody asked you to be here. But a lot of times I'll just make it lighthearted, because at the end of the day, for me, just because it's been going on, I've done social media for, a hot minute now. I know what goes on. And I would say these people are trying to get to you. They're trying to make you feel bad. And that's what you don't want. You don't want them to see that their comments are affecting you. And sometimes they might be. And that's a problem. Sometimes they actually might affect you, but you don't want to show them that, because that'll make it even worse.
Yeah, because then they get worse, and then they keep coming.
They're like, oh, my comments are working, so I'm going to go and do it again.
Yeah. And like I've told a few people, the problem really is that hurt people. And the sad part of it is they've probably been bullied, and now they're going to go bully other people.
And they're continuing the cycle.
Yeah, that's exactly it. That's what it's always the people that are maybe insecure about themselves, or like you said, hurt, and they want to reflect that onto others. to make them feel better about themselves, which is a concept I don't really understand, because if you're feeling down and if you know how bad someone made you feel, why would you want someone else to feel that way? You know?
Right.
But I guess it's a mindset thing, and I never would put those people down. More so just say, hey, calm down and just get off the live. Like, you know what I'm saying? No need to bash them. No need to get heated, because that does make it work.
Like, I remember recently I seen a meme that said, I just saw a post that I disagreed with, and I kept on scrolling because that's how I roll.
Exactly.
That's what we should do.
Yeah, I love that. You know, you don't need to start something in the comments or make it a big deal. You don't agree? Oh, well.
Move on.
You can skip, you can swipe, you can scroll. It's not like you're in person, you know?
Yeah.
I mean, there's been times where, and this has worked a little bit for me, but there's been times where I have disagreed with somebody on another post, and I'll make a comment on my actual post, not about them, but about the situation.
Okay, yeah.
And I've had the actual person private message me and said, thanks for the hit. Thanks for making me think. But if I'd have said that on their post.
See, that's a real influencer. That's good. Yeah. Influencing ideas. That's great. Yeah.
And again, even if they didn't respond, it wouldn't have mattered, because it was me just thinking about what they said and just turning it around and saying, you know what, shouldn't be like this.
Right, exactly. And that's a great, respectful way to do it, instead of going on someone and comment, oh, you're wrong, and this is bad post, and no, you know what I'm saying?
Right.
So, cool.
Like, I used to have somebody a while back that used to do that. And of course, as you notice, people only do this on posts they disagree with. You never see them like, it's like, okay, I post 10, 20 times a day, and you don't say nothing on all those, but this one post every now and then you're gonna, every time, and you know, people try to give you advice. I'm like, look, until you pour into my life on a daily basis, I don't take advice from people.
Right? Yeah, exactly.
I mean, if you're pouring into me, then that's different. And you wouldn't. And, you know, I've always heard, you know, the old saying, and that's what I try to live by is criticize privately, praise publicly.
Yes, I like that. Put out good things onto the social media platforms. You don't want to have that kind of bad, negative, like, aura around you. And that doesn't, like you were saying, it doesn't mean that you have to agree with everything, because everyone's opinions are different and everyone sees things differently. But it's about how you portray yourself on the internet is a big thing. So
and I like what we're going here, because again, you know, when we have younger people on the show, I always talk about the social media aspect.
Right.
Yeah,
y'all deal with stuff that we never had to deal with.
I know, and it's like social media has become so big, and it's all come up so fast too. And so social media isn't just for fun anymore. I mean, it's used as a business tool. It's used for a lot of things. It's used for brands to sell their products. I mean, it's crazy how big, like how many people are involved with these apps, the reach of these social media platforms.
Yeah.
And so that's crazy. And then for one
thing, I remember seeing a story that when, you know, this is like 5 years ago, where Kim Kardashian could just do one tweet and people paid her 10 grand for it.
Yeah, it's crazy. And it's mainly because how many people are seeing her tweet.
Yes.
The reach that she's getting. Regardless of people like it or not, they're seeing it. And that's the biggest thing.
Exactly. Yeah. So now that we talked about the sacrifice side and all that, let's talk about the glory side. What are a few moments where you look back, you're like, wow, I got to do that?
Yeah, that's a good one. Okay, so I feel like as far as acting, my first moment when I was like, whoa, okay, this is really cool, was when I had my premiere of my first film, Feet of Fire, which I was the lead in, and I danced in it. And we went to the premiere. It was this big theater and everyone was there, and I saw my face on the screen and everyone was watching, and it was just kind of like a wow, that's crazy that I've come to do this. And it felt like my work from shooting and from taking class and from all that had been paying off.
Mm-hmm.
And I knew that that's what I wanted to do. I was like, that's what I'm really passionate about. And that was probably the film that really jump-started my career and my mindset, because I was like, I am really passionate about this. This is what I want to be doing. And seeing my face on that big screen of that premiere, and then going off to the film festivals and winning awards, it was just so rewarding. And I just felt so much gratitude. It was just incredible. As well as when I was probably recording my first song.
Oh, wow.
And we got the final master of it, and we were playing it on the speakers. And I was like, oh my gosh, that's crazy. Like, again, a year ago, I never would have imagined that I'm doing this. And now we have a whole song put together. And it was just, it was crazy. It was awesome.
When's it coming out?
So that song had already come out. That was my, that was probably my first release. It was a cover, and now I have 2 originals out. So I have one called In My Thoughts, and my second one's called Microwave. And my EP is dropping on July 9th, and that has 3 songs. So I'm most excited about that.
I'll be really excited and proud of that.
Yes.
Thank you. Yes, I really, I think that's probably my favorite release, as well as the last one. Sometimes hard to decide. I'm a little biased, but when you write a song and then produce it and all that, and then you hear it all come together, it's just super satisfying in a way.
Now, I see autism is near to your heart. Tell us a little bit about that and the charity that you support.
Yeah, so I support a charity called Spreading the Love. And before COVID, we would go to events and we would donate and we would spread awareness, and people would perform and people would do interviews about it. And so it was really great because all these people would come together for this cause. And it was incredible. And then because of COVID, everything was shut down and these events kind of stopped. And they started doing these, sometimes they would do like Zoom get-togethers. But I'm really just like looking forward to getting back to normal and real life. And so we can start doing this. Because I believe like in-person events are just way beyond Zoom. I mean, it's different. I feel like it's kind of different if it's more so for talking or doing, acting class or an interview. I think it's a cool platform. But as far as events and bringing people together,
you need a person.
In person is just the way to go. So I'm excited to get back to that. And
things are starting to open back up now.
And they are, especially with the vaccine. I'm actually getting my second shot today.
That's
I'm
excited. Shot about a month ago.
Nice.
You had to wait because of being younger.
Yeah, they actually just opened the 12 to 15 or some sort of new age range before I wasn't able to get it. It was 16 and up, and I'm still 15.
Right.
So.
Yeah, because we watch Facebook now, and you see concert now. It's like them because we're actually on Monday heading to Tennessee. We're going to be going to Chattanooga for one day, and then 7 nights in Nashville. Because we're going to spend 4th of July week there. And,
cool. Nice. That's awesome.
And we're like, so much has opened up. And, and Brad Paisley's doing a concert on July 4th there. So we're going to go to that. And then Chris Young on July 5th there.
Cool. That sounds exciting. I know that also in other states, because in California, it's always been a little bit more on the restricted side with the pandemic, which is a good thing. But at the same time, I feel like if they're doing regulations, it should be everywhere. It should be globally so that everyone can, you know what I'm saying? Because it would vary. The rules would vary from town to town, like from city to city. And I don't know if that's in my opinion, that's just not the most effective because people go back and forth from cities and having one city that's completely open and the next city where you can't leave your house. I mean, it's just kind of wishy-washy.
Like we live in Georgia and our states, we only had about a 2-month lockdown and that's it. We've been open.
2 months.
We've been fully open since. And
that's
so we've pretty much lived our life almost. I mean, about the only thing that's not been normal was the mask, but even now that's normal.
Yes.
Yeah. I mean, I know that I think it was in Australia or I think it was Australia. They had a 2-month lockdown. Like everybody was in lockdown, which was probably the most effective thing to do. And from then, been opened. Nobody has to wear masks.
They're back in lockdown.
Oh, they are? Oh.
I've got friends of mine that said the Australia keeps locking them down, undoing. The problem is you get everybody locked down, then when you open it back up, even if one person has it, it'll start to spread.
Exactly.
It's about Sandy's
domino
on pandemics, and it's just one of them things where a pandemic lasts about 2 years. That's just normal.
On average about 2 years.
And it's got to do its thing, because when you close down everybody, when you reopen, it's going to still spread. It's just no way to completely clear it when it's this many people having it.
That's true. Yeah, that's very true. I know they had been open for like a really long period of time where ours was like in California, sometimes the regulations would go week to week. We were open and then we were not, and then we were open again. It was just crazy. I was like, I can't do this. I mean, of course, you want to follow the rules and make sure that you're taking the safety precautions. But I'm so over it.
Yes, us too.
I think we're all over it.
We're all over it. I know.
All over it.
Now, a lot of people, they see you as the artist, the actress, and all that. But they don't see the teams behind you. And in our opinion, the teams never get the love they deserve. But on our show, they get some love. So tell us a little bit about the team that helps you be who you are.
Yeah. So my music producer who manages my music, and he does so much for me. He's incredible. His name is Andrew Lane, and he's a musician. So when we record, he's kind of like the director and helps me with my vocals. And so he's my music guy. Andrew Lane, he's incredible. Along with the engineers who deserve love as well because they work so hard. Miguel Palmero and Chris, what's his last name? Chris Scott, I think, yes. Chris Scott is his name. There's 2 guys. They work on music. They're incredible. And my co-songwriter, Mimi Tomer, we write our songs together. So we'll go in the studio, we'll sit and we'll write, and then I'll record it. So that's my team as far as music goes. And for acting, I'm signed with Eris Talent Agency. I just switched over to them, actually. My agent's name is Rebecca. She's the sweetest, and she's awesome, as well as AE Talent for managing. And I'm with Movement Talent Agency for dance.
Oh, wow.
So that's my team. With acting, all my agents and managers, they know that it's just a little bit tougher for me because, again, I told you about the age thing.
Yeah.
But either way, they're really hardworking and really nice people, and I do have.
Tell us a parent story, because again, your parents are part of your team too. But tell us a story, and you probably got 1,000 of them. But a story that kind of stands out where they went above and beyond for your career, and you're like, wow, they get this as my passion.
Wow. Okay. Well, my parents show me how much they care every day, which is something I'm so grateful for. But I can give you like some examples. For example, when I switched over to gymnastics, they every day would drive me all the way out to the valley, an hour and a half, stuck in traffic every single day, would wait around and then would come pick me up. It was so far. It was so hot over there, and they still did it because they knew I was, passionate about it. A big one is always like what they would do. Like my parents always giving me transportation and always driving me and always helping me with my music and not giving up until it's just perfect. Because especially me and my mom, like we're very perfectionistic, which is like good, but at the same time, sometimes we get in arguments because we both have personalities. But not only do they, support me, but they help me so much, especially like with acting, with music. My parents will spend hours like trying to help me with coaching me on auditions, helping me with my music. Like every single aspect of my life is because of them. My mom submits me for acting roles. She helps manage my social media every single day. And so it's hard to think of one story because it's just like the overall progression of things that they just do for me.
Wow.
It's not just like picking me up and getting me. It's everything in between too. You know what I'm saying?
I love that.
Yeah.
And speaking of teams, we have a third co-host, a little 9-year-old that we always ask a few questions. So Sandy's gonna go get him. And we have a 2-year-old daughter that when she gets older, she'll be plugged in the show too.
Oh, that's awesome.
Because we're trying to be a family affair show here.
Family affair show. That's great. That's amazing. That's really cool.
But definitely love the fact that your parents stand behind you on it, because we've talked to a lot of people, and it's always when the parents are behind the career that they have a stepping stone.
Oh yeah.
And and I think sometimes parents, I'm gonna want to be a musician, and they cringe because they want you to be the doctor, the lawyer.
Oh,
and it's and I think a part of it is society's fault too, because society shows Blake Shelton and they show the broke person, but they don't show that there's like so many people so many levels in between that to where you can make a career within entertainment and people never know who you are.
Yeah, that's very true. And a lot of people start doing one thing and that they're passionate about, but they end up making it in the industry doing something else.
Like you're doing.
And that's kind of, it's kind of happening to me too. I mean, I started out doing one thing and now I'm doing a variety of different things, which I had no idea I'd be doing. But once you are gaining that recognition, then you can start making the choices on your own and say, okay, so now I really want to start doing more of this and more of that because I already have that platform to do it.
Yeah.
So it's about working up to that. But hi, so you have a new guest.
So what's your favorite food?
What's my favorite food? I love pasta. Pasta is probably my favorite food. I don't know. That's always like been my favorite food. Also Polish. So my mom is Polish and Poland has the best food ever. Basically just European food in general is just so good because it's like real fresh. It's just so good. So.
And what's yours?
Mine is pizza.
Pizza's good.
Yeah.
Pizza's good. Yeah, I love pizza.
Yeah, he could eat it all day long if we gave it to him.
I'm sure. Same with me and carbs. Honestly, carbs. But I'm like, no, I can't do that. I can't. But I want to.
So what's your favorite TV show?
Ooh, okay. I have so many. That's why this question is so hard. I love have you seen Friends? I'm sure you have.
I have.
A little bit. Yeah.
So good. I love Friends. It's a newer show. It's called Euphoria. I really like Euphoria. I like Stranger Things a lot. I love the cast of Stranger Things. I know it's a very popular one. And a few other Netflix shows like The Society. I don't know. You guys might not have seen them, but there's a lot of good Netflix originals that I like. But Friends, so good. Probably my favorite.
Mine is SpongeBob.
Oh yeah. Oh my gosh. I used to watch SpongeBob. I like SpongeBob.
And it's been cool because he likes Patrick.
Yes.
Patrick. Oh, okay. Patrick's funny.
Yes.
And it's been cool because we bring on a lot of people who are actors and like yourself, and he watches a lot of your Nickelodeon Disney shows, and so we've been able to bring on people from his shows onto here, so it's been really cool for him.
That's so cool. Yeah, absolutely.
I'm like, I wish my parents was doing that when I was little,
Right? You gotta meet the people that you watch on the big screen, right? It's crazy.
Yeah. Right, next.
Okay, so what's your favorite movie?
Ooh, okay. I always say that. Ooh, okay. No. I love the Harry Potter series. Have you seen Harry Potter or no?
I haven't.
You haven't? It probably I don't know what it is. Some people make fun of me for it, but I love Harry Potter. It's really good. And I love basically any movie with Gerard Butler. I love Gerard Butler. You know him? But it's a movie called London Has Fallen. It's actually a series of movies, and it's with Gerard Butler, and he's just such an amazing actor. So,
And what's yours?
Mine is the Minions movie.
I like the Minions movie a lot. Oh my gosh, kind of want to watch that again. I like that.
He likes them all, and so does Caitlin, our little 2-year-old. She loves them all too. When we're at like the mall, if there's a store that has a little minion in it, we have to go in there.
Oh, of course, you got to go.
And it's funny because she picked up one part. Now she's out of this phase now, but it was the cutest thing, and he loved it too when she would do this. But she picked up one part of the movie where they turn purple and they go. and so every time she would see one, she used to go.
That's so cute. I love that.
It's just the funniest thing. I'm like, one part of the movie, and that's the part that she picks up.
That's hilarious.
She done that today.
Oh, she did do it today. So she's still doing it.
Signature part of the movie. So cute. I love that.
Bye. Thanks.
Bye. It was nice to meet you.
Yeah. Yeah, he loves that. His part is he's been on almost all the episodes.
Nice. I love that. That's so awesome. A family activity. I love that.
And look at what Joe said. My mini Mia.
Oh, it definitely is.
Joseph's clone.
Absolutely. That's so cute.
So, if being an artist now, if you could co-write with any artist, dead or alive, who would it be? It's a very good one. Ooh, okay. Let me see. I love The Weeknd a lot. That's like my music taste. I love The Weeknd. I would say maybe like I looked up to him. He could be like my mentor. We could co-write. It could be so much. There you go.
You know who else is a really upcoming music artist that I really like is Olivia Rodrigo.
Oh.
I really love like how soulful her voice is, and I can tell that her music is written from a really authentic place.
Yeah.
And so that's the kind of person that I feel like would be a good writer, like to good to write with, because you really come up with ideas that have a lot of meaning to you. And I'm the same way because I feel like my music is storytelling rather than having all the highs and lows and the technique. And it's mostly about the story that I'm trying to get across and the emotion and the soul. And I feel like she has that, as well as an incredible voice as well. So it just tops it off. But yeah, that's what I would say. So
this probably has 1,000 answers. But just think of the first one that pops in your head. What is a song you've heard that you wish you wrote?
Ooh, I wish I wrote. Some of those songs that just kind of hit different.
Yeah.
I would say the first one that pops, there's probably a million. It's called Save Your Tears, and it's actually by The Weeknd. Something about it makes me get up and dance, but it also kind of makes me want to cry at the same time. Does that make sense?
Yeah.
One of those songs. I love it. Yeah.
That is awesome. So 2015, we interviewed Kelsey Ballerini before she was Kelsey, so to speak. And one of the questions I asked her was where she wanted to be in 5 years. And I always like to tell this story before I ask the guest that same question, because the answer she gave us back then is to the T of what she's living. I mean, she knew A, B, C, D, what she wanted to be in 5 years. And she's living every bit of what she said on what we asked her. Wow. So knowing that, where do you want to be in 5 years?
Well, that kind of gives a pressure of, oh, well, if you're not doing that, you're doing something wrong. Because I always like to set the bar high, you know what I'm saying? But in 5 years,
should be.
Right. I hope that I will be touring. I really want to go on tour for music and tour the country, maybe even tour who knows where. I really want to go on tour. And in 5 years, I will be already 18. So I'm hoping that acting will start to pick up again. So I hope that I can work more and be on some really cool movies and be on some TV shows. And have myself more established overall as an artist. And I know that things are going to go in a lot of different ways that I'm not even expecting yet. I already know it's going to happen because it's happened before. But yeah, those are probably my main two things. I really want to be working on movie sets and on a show and touring with music, which I know it's kind of hard to do at one time, but figure it out.
You can do it.
You can do it.
Figure it out. So
Yeah, well,
one more thing. Wait, I'm sorry. Also, I also started doing a lot more choreography, like choreographing for videos, and like I just choreographed not a number. It was more so a dance for my friend's music video, which is going to be releasing soon. And in the summer, I'm not 100, it's like 90%. I was offered to go and choreograph for to teach a lot of kids that basically be their mentors. And so they're like, yeah, we'll get you out to Vegas and it'll be a lot of fun. And so that was a really cool thing that got offered to me. So I definitely want to do more choreography, whatever that may mean. I don't know exactly. I mean, it could mean a lot of things. Choreograph for other people's music videos, choreograph for me. Like in my most recent music video, me and one of the other dancers choreographed the piece that's in the music video. So that was really fun too. Yeah.
Love that. So let's look even further down the road. Let's say we're 15 years down the road and you're a success on a grand scale. Whatever that means for you, you're there. You've made it. If the person you are today could meet her, your future successful self, what would you remind her?
I remind her. That's so difficult. I love these questions. I would say don't take anything for granted, probably. That would be something I would say. Because sometimes...
Because you can be on top and fall.
That is very true. Don't take anything for granted. Remember how you started. And I'm always a firm believer of like making sure... Because a lot of people, when they make it to the top, they get very over them, above the clouds, over themselves.
Yeah.
And it's not intentional a lot of times, but kind of just to remember where you started, and take, be grateful for every moment, because I know that sometimes even now I get so caught up and I need to just take a step back and say, hey, it's going to be okay. I get worked up sometimes because I have all these goals, and it can be overwhelming and stressful. Because I'm a little bit disorganized with the way that I think. And so sometimes that can be a disadvantage. So I would say, be grateful for every moment and don't take anything for granted. Yeah.
Awesome. And how would you describe your music to someone who hasn't heard it yet?
I would say each of my songs so far is a little bit different. They all have a little bit of a different feel to them. So it's kind of a good variety. Like if I have 5 originals, because the 3 that are dropping, I would hope that somebody could find at least one that matches kind of their vibe, because they're all a little bit different. But at the same time, I would say they're more on the pop, indie, a little bit. The first one is a tiny bit more on the R&B side, but mostly like pop, indie, soulful. And that's probably how I would describe it.
Awesome. And on the acting side, what would be your dream role or character to play?
I've thought about this, and I feel like it's probably changed since the last time I answered this. But I would love to play like it definitely would be a protagonist role that it's like very empowering and like has a voice, one of those characters like, wow, that's badass. That kind of character that has a lot of like depth to them that shows, what's going on inside.
Who would you want to co-star with you on it?
Ooh, Zendaya. Freaking love her so much. I love Zendaya. Or Gerard Butler. He could play my dad or something. They're both so incredible. Or also, being the mean girl is fun, but if it was like a main leading role for a movie or a TV show, a character that the audience loves and relates to. that would be the character. Yeah.
And what would you like your legacy to be as an artist? What would you like to be known and remembered for?
I wouldn't want to be known as somebody who's in the shadow of someone else. I would want to be known as, oh, she's Mila Nabours. Like, she's doing her own thing. She's different. She has her own, I'm like not a third person kind of, but someone who does things from the heart and from like a real and authentic place. And just, I don't know. Yeah.
And if you could relay any message to your fans, what would you want to tell them?
Well, I would probably want to say, first of all, thank you for supporting me and like, yeah, just supporting me overall. Like, it's seriously, I would not have come so far on social media and with everything that I'm doing if it weren't for these people who were joining my page and supporting me, sending me messages, liking my post. Like, it's all so crazy, and I have so much gratitude for them. More than it's explainable. I mean, having so many people that are watching your live streams and your posts every day, it's like very motivating because you're like, wow, people are appreciating this, and in return, I appreciate them. You know, because they're allowing me to have a platform and encouraging me and motivating me. And sometimes I won't even have the best day, and I'll hop on live stream and I'll have a blast talking questions. Like, I have a lot of people going on my live. They're hilarious. Like, I love talking to these people. And again, you guys know about the people that are, you know, not so nice, or the people who aren't leaving good comments. And that just gets removed. Who cares? I don't care.
Absolutely.
Delete and ban.
Block.
Right, exactly. Delete and ban. And what's really pushing me is the people are saying, wow, Mila, like, I really, I see how much work that you're putting into this music. I see that you're working hard. That's what really makes my day. These people are appreciating it. And I can say, well, I appreciate that you're taking the time to listen to my music and to watch my posts. And so big thank you, like, for real.
And, yeah, that's like, you know, there are many times where I have a bad day, bad morning, and we do these shows 5-6 days a week. And it's like I get on here and I just forget everything that's happened.
This is your therapy.
This is my therapy.
Yeah, it's like an escape, right?
Yeah. Exactly.
And the sad part, what's funny, is you're actually going to be the last interview for like 13 days.
Yeah.
This will be the longest because our trip coming up and all that.
Yeah.
So it's kind of weird that we're not going to be doing any shows for 13 days.
Wow. Big break.
Big break.
Yes. No, for sure.
Sometimes you need it.
Probably need
it. We probably need it. I don't want to take it, but
a little recess. It can be nice and fresh when you come back too.
Exactly.
So as we come to a close here, let's say you had a friend of yours and you heard him or her singing. They have something special. As Simon Cowell would say, they have that it factor. They've only played maybe 30, 40 shows, so they're still getting their feet wet on the performance side. What advice would you give that specific person? And because they've gotten on stage, they got what every artist has, that stage bug where they look over the crowd and the crowd's roaring. What advice would you give them to kind of help guide them the next few years? And on the flip side, would you give the artist, an actress, the same advice? And if not, what would that be?
Well, if you are confident that you are passionate about that, and that obviously if people are saying you have the it factor, that's huge, because that means that you draw the audience. You have people that want to watch you. That is the it factor. You have that quality that engages people. And I would say, don't let that go. Don't let it go to waste. Find people that will be your team. Because, we were talking about teams and how they don't get enough love. It's really about your team, because your team will push you and support you and get you to where you want to be. They will get you those opportunities so that you can continue to pursue your dreams and to, keep going on these shows. Find people. You have to I think the biggest thing I would say is getting yourself out there. Don't be scared, because what's the worst that could happen? You get rejected. Oh, well, it's the industry. You're going to get rejected anyway. regardless if you're the
You don't
best.
want rejection, you're in the wrong industry.
Wrong industry.
Don't want it. Get yourself out there, whatever that means. Go on social media, post every single day, find a team. I mean, it's just, if you want to do it, you need to find your people. You need to find that. You just go, just do it. You know what I'm saying? You can't be scared. You can't be closed off.
That's what we had to do when we launched the show. We spent the whole 2019.
Right.
So 2019, we didn't launch because we let what ifs change.
Right.
It.
What ifs?
And
You don't want the what ifs. It's about what could happen.
Yep. And finally, it was, like I love the little song, the song by King Brown, "What If," with Lauren Elena, because they take it the other way. Instead of what if it's bad, what if it's good?
What if it's good? Because what could happen? And if it doesn't, you keep going.
Yeah.
You know what I'm saying? You put in that work. I can never say that work ethic. I hate that word. Oh my goodness.
So
yeah, I don't know. It's just a hard question because there's so many. It really depends on the scenario too.
Yeah.
On how you're gonna get yourself out there.
Exactly.
But finding a strategy, finding a new lane. You don't want to be, I'm the new this, I'm the new that. But finding your own lane is like really important. Finding what makes you different, I guess, I think is really
exactly. And what a great way to end here. So if you want to tell everybody how they can reach out to you.
Yes, please do.
Yes. So my Instagram Instagram's the main one. I have my email and contact and all that is Mila.Nabours. So Mila.Nabours. And if you want to catch me on YouTube, it's just Mila Nabours, and I have my music on there. I have 2 of my new music videos. And those are probably my 2 main social medias that have more of my contact info in the links as well. But I'm most active on YouTube and Instagram, so catch me on there.
Love that. And we really enjoyed having you on the show today, and we look forward to having you back down the road.
Thank you. So I really appreciate you guys having me. It was so much fun. And we covered a lot of important topics, so thank you so much for having me.
Well, the tagline does say up close and personal, so that's what we try to get.
You did.
Thanks so much for your time.